All right, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pastrami Nation Podcast. I'm Kevin. Joining me today, as usual, my co-host for the evening, uh, my son Elijah. What's going on, man?
Happy to have a temporary title of co-host.
Contemporary title of co-host. Well, I'm happy to have you as my co-host. And we also have a very, very special guest. So today we're going to be talking about a brand new action figure line called F.I.S.T. And
Yeah,
in order to talk about that, we have the creator of F.I.S.T, Esteban, is here to talk about F.I.S.T and talk about his new line. How are you doing today, sir?
good. Happy to be here. Happy to talk with you guys. Practice my English too.
Yeah.
So really happy to be here. Yeah.
We're good. We'll do. Yeah, no, absolutely. We're happy to have you here. We're happy to help with whatever, if you, we're happy to help you practice your English. I'm excited for that. So that'll be awesome. So, you're over in Colombia, right?
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And Fist, I've been reading about Fist, and I heard that Fist is the first Colombian, or original action figure line. Can you talk about that a little bit and what that experience has been like for you?
Well, here in Colombia, there have been a few factories, toy factories, right? But the factory that I work, they had made some action figures and stuff for Asian market, European market. But this is the first time that the whole team that made Fist, we are from Colombia,
That's
right?
awesome.
The thing was that I started making sculpts for some US companies, for some US brands, and they always told me that, produce in China, it's have been a little bit difficult, have been a little bit tricky at some points. So I always told them like, why you don't produce in Colombia? And they always say, oh yeah, Colombia is close. Colombia is like the favorite brother from the US in government, yeah, right?
Yep.
So people get really excited. But when we start getting the meetings, the factory didn't have something to show, an action figure to show that this is our action figures that we can make. So no one wants to be the first, right?
Right.
Hmm.
So I told the factory, okay, we are losing good business here. Why you don't invest in me and I make my own line, the first action figure line from Colombia, and you can
Cool.
have something to show the rest of the world that we can make action figures here. And they say, okay, let's do it. They put the money. Well, I make all the sculpts, I create the backstory and everything. And that's how Fist born. Like, yeah.
Colombia, no, that's awesome. That's really cool. You must feel really proud to be the first one to like have your line out there and made in Colombia too. That's really cool.
Yeah, well, you guys need to understand that Latin America, we are really influenced by U.S. culture, right?
Right.
So this is not something that everyone wants to make their own toys and their own action figures, but the difference between the culture is that in the U.S., when you guys dream something, you know how to make it, right? Or maybe you know someone or something like that. In Latin America, it's different. If you dream to be a toy maker, people think that okay, you are nonsense. You need to
Right.
be a lawyer, you need to be a doctor, you need to be an engineer. But maybe a toy maker is not something that everyone says. Oh yeah, you can do it. So that is something that's why something really new in my country right now, the Fist action figures.
Mhm. Very cool. That's awesome. So, how long have you been working on Fist? Because I know you just had the debut a few weeks ago
Yeah.
in Colombia. How long before that? Like, what was the process like, kind of getting it developed and coming out and stuff? And I know it takes like a whole team to do it, but as far as the story goes and everything like that, how did that process all move along when you were from the start? You had this idea. Where did the idea for Fist come from?
Well, I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan, and Small Soldiers movie
I love
fan.
Small Soldiers.
Yeah, 80s movies, 90s movies. Actually, the first idea was make something more just military,
Mhm.
humans versus humans. But I remember, but when I showed first to my wife the first concepts, she told me that is what everyone makes. Why is somebody are gonna buy this? And I get like, yeah, you are right. So at that point, I was playing with my wife Warhammer, a lot of Warhammer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we said, okay, what if we start putting in our action figure line orcs, but not the typical orc that is just muscular and just fight. What if the orcs are more like they see us like we are the dumb people, yeah, that we are the dumbs and they are the smart ones. So
Right.
that's why we start putting the orcs on the line. That's why we start changing everything. For example, in the comic that I have here, yeah, we are right now making the English version, but this is the Spanish version. You have the same, we have the same mission, but we told first the humans and in the other side the orcs,
That's very cool.
because I want that people don't think that, oh, they are orcs or they are the bad guys and humans are the good guys. I want that you can see both
Both
sides and
points.
decide what is your side, something like that, right?
Right.
Mhm.
That's very cool. So you have this idea, you have this really great idea. Where does it move from there? You know, do you have to get obviously people involved and stuff? Is it a I mean, I'm not going to say an easy process, but what's that process like saying like, hey, here's my idea. Let's get these turned into action figures and toys. What
Okay, well, the first step was to make the business plan. So I showed the business plan to the factory. They say, okay, at the beginning, the business plan was make the money by Kickstarter. And we make a
Okay.
Kickstarter, but we don't make the goal. So the first day we make like 20K, but the second day we don't make anything. And from go and then we don't make more money. So that's why the factory say, okay, we're gonna put the money. But I'm a 3D sculptor, right? So I make all the sculpts. I write the story, the backstory of the characters. I write the comic. I have a partner that make all the illustration of the comic, of the boxes and everything. And that is something that there is cultural thing too. I know a lot of American friends that when you guys make a project, you hire, okay, I need a sculptor, I hire a sculptor. I need a writer,
Right.
I write a writer. And everything, you guys are more like, you think more like a business people. Here, if you want to make something, you make everything. You know, the only thing
Okay.
that I didn't make was the illustration, because that takes so much time. So I say, okay, I'm gonna introduce another guy. But all the writing, all the characters, all the sculpt, I made almost everything. Then when you finish the sculpts, you need to send all the 3D files to the factory. So they work with an engineer that they start making like a little changes on the files. So that
Mhm.
will work on the molds. Then there is some tests. Then they change a little bit the joints and everything to work. From there is paint masters. There is like it's like a table where you put all the Pantone of the colors that you want.
Right.
So you send that to the factory, and they start making tests. They start making tests on the joints and everything, and that's little less how I make F.I.S.T project.
That's very cool. So I notice FIST is FIST with periods. What does
Yeah.
that stand for? Or can you say what it stands for?
The what?
FIST. So I notice it's F period
It's
I
like an
period.
acronym.
It's an
Yeah,
acronym.
yeah. It's an
Yeah.
acronym. Is first interdimensional special team.
Oh, okay.
Because when I start making this, I'm the kind of people that I don't like limits.
Right.
So I felt like, okay, if I want to at some point put zombies or dinosaurs or space
It'd be
cowboys,
so
I
cool.
need interdimensional. Yeah, I remember when I saw Rick and Morty, you saw that they go to a place that there is snakes, but in another place are mermaids, and in another place. So I thought, okay,
Yeah,
if I put the interdimensional thing, I can put whatever I want on the line. So that's why it's
that is so
interdimensional.
cool. You have any ideas for future stuff? Are you looking at anything cool like that you're thinking about right now, or?
Yeah, well, there is something that I want to make in upcoming figures. For example, like I wanna
Okay.
put some female characters that are inspired more in the horror tales from Latin America, right?
Yeah.
Will be that is something that I want to put. I want to put like a team that is like people in the earth that believe that the orcs is a punishment from God. So they start hunting another humans
Oh, wow.
to help God, something like that, right? So they believe that they deform their faces so they can be sinners, right? So
Right.
they hunt another people helping God or something like that. Yeah, I have a few ideas for the future, but all depends of how
Right.
the line works.
No, that's awesome. It's always good to have that idea for the future. Kind of have look forward to all that stuff. Definitely look forward to checking it out over here in the United States as well. So you
I
guys,
agree with that.
yeah, it sounds really cool. Like I said, you guys launched a couple weeks ago. You guys debuted in Colombia. How did that event go? So this took place at the. You're gonna have to forgive me if I don't say this correctly, but the Bogota International Book Fair.
Yeah.
You guys were there. It takes place April 17th to May 2nd this year. What was that event like? What was the launch like? What was the response that you got from being there?
Well, at the beginning, I was a little bit worried because here is not the. I always talk about the culture, but here people know Batman, Spider-Man. They are not too open to new things, you know.
Right.
They are more like if they are gonna buy a toy, they're just buying Spider-Man or Star Wars things. So I was like a little bit worried about how people are gonna react. That okay, this is something made here. This is a new story. How people are gonna react, but I get a really good surprise because people were like, "Oh, this is made in Colombia. The backstory is cool, the orcs and everything." So we have a really good sales. Actually, we people was more. Uh, the impact was like, okay, this is from Colombia, right?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that everything is made just in China or Vietnam or that countries, but people get really into the thing that okay, we are gonna make something in Colombia. They love the joints, they love the plastic because the plastic that we work is a little bit heavy. It's
Mhm.
more like strong. I don't know how to say it. The paint. So people get like really impressed that okay, we in Colombia we can make this, right? Because all
That's
the things
cool.
that you can find here that is made for independent people are more crafty, handmade, and everything,
Mhm.
not industrial factory things. So it was a really good response from people here in Colombia.
That's good. That's awesome, and yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, so you launch it there. So what comes next for the series? So obviously, I've seen that you've got distribution in the United States and stuff like
Mhm.
that. After that, like what? So when could we plan to kind of see them over here in the United States? I know you guys, like I said, you have the debut in Colombia, but is there any specific timeline as to when they'll come over to the States and things like that?
Yeah, we're gonna make the first big shipment on the first week of June. So we are hopefully. So the plan is that we are gonna launch the pre-orders maybe next week. I'm finish the details yeah, but we're gonna make the shipment the first week of June. So we're gonna be able to send to the buyers on the first week or second week of July. So we'll be in 2 months that people are gonna get in hands the figures. But we're gonna make fast small shipping for the Joe Fest. So people are gonna have the opportunity to buy at the Joe Fest a few figures that we're gonna
Okay.
go there with the figures, but people can pre-order on the website that we are gonna launch hopefully next week. But I'm still finishing the details for that.
Right. Very cool. So I am curious. So let's just step back just a little bit. You had talked about like, just living in Colombia and stuff and how this wasn't something that you're told that you can do, right? Like that making toys and stuff. You always want to be these other things. Do you happen to see that like changing at all? I mean, is it kind of evolving to where, obviously this is a huge, step, it sounds like, for people to be able to do these kind of things. Do you see other people trying to take that leap and doing those things? And do you see kind of a different type of culture kind of, I guess, emerging from that?
Well, I saw a lot of artists excited when Feast came out. So I think that from now I make the first step of showing rest of the world that we can make cool things here in Colombia. For example, last week I signed a deal with a producer here in Colombia. So we are going to make a small teaser for a TV series, right? To show people that is something that, okay, they are going to make the teaser to show people what else we can do here in Colombia.
Right.
So everyone's and see if we have a good response, we're gonna make the TV series. We're working right now too in let me show you in a board game. This is a prototype.
Oh, nice.
A small MacDoc, because it's not just the action figures. I want to create more a big world for people to get into it, not just the action figure. Well, I love the action figures. And for me, the thing is the action figures. But at the beginning was just to fulfill the dream to make my own action figures. But right now, this become a little bit more bigger. Yeah. And I get a little more attention, not just in Colombia, but in other places, because people was like, okay, Colombia is a place that we can make action figures. This looks cool. It's not just coffee and narcos. There is more that we can see in Colombia, So that is something that we want to explore more the world of F.I.S.T. and not just the action figures and the comic.
Mm-hmm. No, very cool. And I love that idea of like attaching it to like a TV show or something like that. Cause I remember when I was a kid, and even, I mean, he's 17 now, but like growing up for me, it was always like, I watched like Ninja Turtles or Transformers or something, and I wanted to have the action figures to go with that. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. He still does that. You know what I mean? Like he had the whole like newer line of Ninja Turtle action figures and stuff. And we're also big like Lego people. So like we see things like nostalgia, things like that. So I think that's really cool that you're looking to tie it into like a possible television series and stuff.
Yeah, and the funny thing was that at the beginning will be just the action figures. Actually, my plan was doing something like, I don't know if you remember the first Mortal Kombat games in the machine that you choose your character and they just tell you a little bit of the backstory and that's it.
Yeah.
Then if the thing to go to the Feria del Libro in Bogota, the convention, was there is something that is focused on books, on literature. So we were obligated to make the comic book, right? To be there. So, okay, so we need to expand this. So we made the comic book. For me was, I'm a bad reader, I'm a bad writer, but was my first time writing something.
Right.
When we start selling the comics, always we get a lot of messages on my Instagram and my social media. Where when we are gonna see the second comic, and I was like, for me was just that, no more. So right now we know that this is bigger than we imagine, right? That's why we signed the thing with the producer that okay, we can make more things for the IP than just the action figure, just the comic, just the products itself.
Yeah,
But something more bigger, yeah.
that's go ahead.
That's what I like to hear. Like people actually want to see more stuff instead of just like, hey, this was good, but I don't really know if I do want to see more of it. I like hearing that like people are really enjoying it and they want to like get more as soon as they can.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. And I think that the idea, listen, we're all in. We're already in. I need to read this comic book. We need to see the series. I mean, it sounds really cool. I like the idea of the F.I.S.T. I think it's going to be really, really cool. And yeah, I think it's awesome. I can't wait to really dive into that world and learn more about them and stuff. And so I was reading that the actual figures themselves come with like a comic strip. Is that correct? That kind of tells a little bit about them and stuff like that.
Yeah. They come with a small bio card, so you can
Okay.
see a little bit of the character. The thing in the comic is that you don't. I don't know. I get a lot of inspiration about the Quentin Tarantino movies that they don't lose so much time telling the backstory of the character, but you understand the character about the
Yes. Yeah.
how they act, how they talk, what
Yeah.
the decision they take, right? So that's how you are gonna see the comic book. But when you get the action figure, you're gonna find out a small bio of him, of his weakness, his I forget his
Strengths
name,
and
his age, yeah, strengths and everything, yeah.
Dude, that's exciting, man. Yeah,
I
that's
love that.
yeah, that's really cool. We're really excited for that. So you said you're going to be shipping out to the United States soon. The products. Where can people find F.I.S.T? Like when it does launch, where can people order it? Or people can order it right now, like pre-order or whatnot. Where can they go to do that?
Yeah, we're gonna launch a site, a website, hopefully next week.
Okay.
Will be my partner in the US is Invincible Toys, so we're gonna launch a
Very
website
cool.
so people are gonna be able to to pre-order the action figures, right? So that's how people are gonna get them. Or if they go to the Joe Fest, we are gonna have a limit units of each character. So people are gonna be able to buy there a few comics, a few figures. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Are you planning on coming to the States at all anytime to like do like Comic Cons or anything like that? Or is
Yeah,
it
I'm gonna be at Comic Con San Diego.
oh nice.
I have there like a small table, and I get an invitation to be on a 3D printable action figures panel. So
Okay.
they're talking about 3D printables and 3D stuff more in the
Very
sculpt
cool.
thing. Yeah, and I hope I went to I hope to be another I forgot the names right now, into another cons in the rest of the year. But the thing is that for me to go there is really expensive, so I need
Yeah,
to make
understandable.
sure that
The payout
um,
is worth going.
yeah, is worth, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, we love to have you over here and because this sounds really cool. I'm excited. I know he's excited. He's
Yes.
this kid and his action figures. He's still like constantly like he's big into like Star Wars and stuff, but like
If I have the money, I happily would.
yeah. And I was just reading another, I believe it was an interview you had done with Columbia One. And you had also talked about Starship Troopers being
Yeah.
an inspiration, and we love Starship Troopers. He's
I'm
Yeah.
playing Helldivers right now.
Yeah.
It's the closest I'll get to Starship Troopers game
Yeah,
ever.
absolutely. So that's F.I.S.T for y'all. Thank you so much again, Esteban, for being here and chatting with us and telling us all about F.I.S.T and everything. We're very, very excited to finally, to get these over here in the United States. And as soon as you get all the information, please send it our way so we can post it
for sure.
and let our followers know. We have a bunch of people who love action figures. Actually, two of our normal co-hosts who couldn't be here today, unfortunately, are like massive action figure fans. One of them, he made action figures and stuff a while back. So I know we're all really, really excited about when anything new comes out. We love to talk about it and discuss it. And maybe if it comes, if we get it in stores and everything, we'd love to have you back. We could talk about them and show off our cool figures and stuff and talk a little bit more about it. And do you have any, so you said that the F.I.S.T comic is still you're translating it into English. Any idea when that would be available in the United States?
That will be available at the same time of the figures.
Okay.
Today I get a review of a friend that he's helping me because I understand English, but I still have some some barriers of the English. So I make all the translation and he's making a little bit of correction. So
cool.
Things are not gonna look just like a translator, are gonna feel more like natural things, right? So he's helping me with that. We're gonna finish all the translate this week, and the production of the comics will start next week. So we are gonna have the comics ready for the JoeCon and for delivered for people when we start delivering the action figures.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, we're really, really excited for that. So we'll definitely be checking it out when it hits over here. Congratulations on all the success, and we're really, really happy for you, and excited. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really
thank you for the invitation. If you want to know anything else, I'm really open to talk about the process, to help people. If someone want to make their own action figures, if someone has the dream to work in this, I'm really open to answer everything, to contact the factory too. So for me, it's like open book for everything.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool to hear, because I love getting into like the nitty gritty about stuff like that. I love learning about the process and how it all works and how it all comes together.
He really does.
So we'll definitely have you back on and just chat, and maybe we'll get some of our fans to submit questions and stuff and learn about all that stuff, because I find all of that super fascinating. So thank you again for coming on. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. As usual, like, subscribe, share. We're really, really we really appreciate that. And Esteban, Nolan, our co-founder of Pastrami Nation and editor, says thank you so much for coming on. So we really appreciate it. And remember, you can find pastramination.com. You can find us on all the socials as well: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twix, X, whatever it's called now, all that fun stuff. Pinterest, we're doing really well on, so go check us out there. As usual, join us every Tuesday night for a brand new episode of the Pastrami Nation podcast. You can also download an audio version in about a week or so. That'll be available on all of your favorite podcast apps. Esteban, thank you so much again. Really appreciate it. And you're more than invited back anytime.
Okay, now anytime that you want to invite me, I'm really in. I really love to talk about this. Thank you for the invitation. Hopefully meet you guys at some convention or
absolutely
in other places. If you want to came to Colombia, visit the factory or everything, I can arrange that for you guys. So
don't tempt me, because I will go. I will go to Colombia right now. But that sounds.
I want to go too.
Yeah, he'll go too. That would be incredible. But thank you so much. Well, we'll see you. We'll see you either in Colombia or here in the United States. One of the two. We will.
That would be cool.
All right, Esteban. You guys, thank you all. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.